What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sang, and today we're going to be reacting to a video from Steven Crowder titled Gay Man Reveals Dark Side of the LGBT Community. And this is from his segment called Louder with Crowder. Let's get into it.
To be separate from everything else. They know in 20 years, if this continues, it's going to be normalized.
Yeah.
And who knows what comes after this.
I know.
The trans agenda, the pedophile agenda, whatever.
Ooh, this is going to be juicy. You hear that?
Latino American, very gay, and he's to the right of Attila the Hun, and he's so scared. He's like, man, I've lost friends just because we didn't vote for Biden. He's like, these people are the most unaccepting in the world.
I've had two people walk out on me on dates because I said, Trump's not that bad. That's all I said.
That's all you said?
And then they walk off. Hey, you're gonna pay your bar tab?
Were these, yeah.
Gotcha. I got it. Don't worry.
These ladies or these guys?
Dudes.
Okay. That's what I figured. I gotta tell you, it's
They're all the same.
Oh, no, you know, it's changing. It's changing. It really is changing. We have a huge gay following of people just because they're like, look, they come to the shows, they don't get they know there's no hate. Like, again, this, you should listen. I wish this guy would be on the show. I tell this joke, it's so funny. He's like flamboyantly gay, very, very Latino.
Yeah.
And he broke up with his boyfriend of 18 years over Biden.
Because?
And he was like, because he betrayed me. He's like, he betrayed. I told him that if you vote for Biden, and so what happened is he's in LA, but now he's in Florida. And Dave and I always joke about this. He's like, don't tell that on air. But one of his neighbors in LA has another neighbor who's like a Syrian migrant refugee, and had goats in the yard. And he said his neighbor, who's a liberal, sent him like a news clipping of like goats in the yard. He's like, can you believe this? He goes, can I believe it? You voted for this shit. I hope he sets up a whole petting zoo. I was sitting there like, oh, I'm trying to breathe. He's like, you. I hope you're. He's like, I hope this whole neighbor gets calming when he tries to it, so I can not care. This guy is so catty. I'm like, dude, you gotta calm down. But he's done with it. You know what I mean?
There's such a divide happening right now, and I agree with it. I want the LG and B to be separate from everything else. And there's a whole.
That's what it used to be. It literally just used to. Well, first of all, everybody just used to be called gay. If you swung for the same team, you just used to be gay. Then it was gay and lesbians, and then if you happened to fall in the middle and you liked everybody, it was bi. Now there's like names for everything. I remember when I first heard the term pansexual, I was like, what is a pansexual? And they were just like, oh, that just means you love everybody. And I'm like, that's what bi means. And they're like, no, a bi means you love either a man or a woman. And I'm like, right, that's everybody. What are you talking about? And they were like, no, because pan, that means you could love a transsexual or an asexual or a demi. And I'm like, what are you talking about? All of these people are either a man or a woman at the end of the day. So you're bi. I remember we got into a whole argument till my brain just kind of like stopped, and I was like, never mind, you right. It's so annoying. That's literally what it used to be. All this other extra stuff, I really think y'all just bored and y'all want attention because there's no true problems in your life. You just want to be oppressed so bad. It's like, shut up, you ain't got nothing going on. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Movement for that.
The T is a real problem for you guys.
I think it is.
Now when they're going after kids, hormone replacement.
I never wanted that.
The problem is too.
All I wanted was gay marriage.
Right.
You don't even have to call it marriage. You can call it whatever you want. I want to be able to be seen the same way in the eyes of the law as my straight counterparts.
Right.
But yeah, it was the T that sort of brought everything else.
Well,
that's literally all it used to be. The main fight was we want to get married like everybody else gets married. And personally, I didn't really see anything wrong with that. I'm just like, you want to be married and experience divorce and all the other relationship BS that comes with it, like a straight couple, go for it. Like, who cares? Like, let them have whatever they want. And then it was, when my partner is in the hospital, I want to be able to have the same rights on knowing what's going on with them as like a married couple would. I was cool with all of that. All of this extra stuff, taking kids to drag shows, grooming, trying to make pedophiles be accepted with a new name called MAPS and whatever. Just stop. Stop trying to groom kids and do weird stuff with them. That has nothing to do with any of this. This is so weird now.
Oh man, it's like people often, because sometimes when people say like, oh, homophobic or transphobic, I go, look, the idea that we're using the chemical castration drugs. It's the same drug as used on kids.
That's what it is.
The idea that we're using this and saying the science is out. We just talked about this.
It's irreversible.
It's irreversible.
Yeah.
The science is not out on cancer. The science is not out on endometriosis, on infertility. Like, we know if you're a woman and you get breast cancer,
Yeah.
I have a nanny who just had a double mastectomy. The first thing to do is put you on an estrogen blocker, because if that gets high even for women, it's bad. But for men, we know that it causes cancer. The male body is not meant to have that level of estrogen. It's just, it's incredibly corrosive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. It's a real problem. And what's funny is too, where if you give, if men have higher testosterone, it actually helps with like metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. But if women get testosterone, it makes it worse. And so it's just your body is meant to have a certain profile of hormones. We all know that because people, right, why are people eating organic? Why are they drinking from glass bottles opposed to plastic?
Right.
Because they talk about these, hormones in the food. They talk about the xenoestrogens, the BPA plastic. That's all it is.
Sure.
When you inject it directly into a 9-year-old's ass, but we don't know the science. It's really, really scary.
Yeah, everything he's saying is correct. That's why when they do this whole anybody can be a woman and anybody can be this, it's like, no, there's a clear separation and you need that for medical reasons. Everything he just said, where he said, as a man, this will harm you, you can't have elevated levels of this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that it's there for a reason. Honestly, I really wish everybody would just be comfortable in their own skin. I really feel like that's what it all boils down to. You need to learn to be comfortable with you at the end of the day, because that's really all it is. And when you get kids and teenagers in that awkward phase where they're not really comfortable with themselves yet, and you're just pushing anything on them, and they're just like, yeah, I guess this would make me feel better. That's irreversible. They could never change that. They can never go back to that. Then once they become fully formed adults, and they think back on things, and they be like, man, I can't believe I destroyed my body at 12. Because that's when they be allowing it. They be allowing kids to go through these surgeries at very young ages. Don't let a lot of these people fool you talking about, oh no, you're not allowed to do anything until you're 18. No, a lot of these places are allowing the surgeries to happen at 12, 13, 14, 15. Like, that's way too young to make those type of decisions. Some places, like in in Canada, they straight up told a dad, he was like, they said, we don't even need your parental consent to do what we want to do to your daughter. They didn't even need the mother's consent, but the mother was kind of down with it. And the dad was like, no, you're not about to do this to my daughter. And they were like, it's actually your son. They put him in jail. He to this day, he still can't talk to his kid, and he's still trying to fight for the rights to go see his daughter, who's now his son. And I feel like it's going to get to the point where they're going to try to push that here in America. I think there was an article where that happened in Ohio. I think they did that in Ohio. Ohio trans kid law. Something happened here. Because it happened to a couple. You know what? I don't even know. I do not. I'm going to have to do that off camera.
And you look at these kids who are trying to transition back.
And we're not going to see those effects for another, 10 years. And who knows how many of this younger generation is going to...
Yeah, this generation they're putting this on, there's no studies done for that. So this is going to be the first generation. We're not going to see the effects of any of this for years down the line. A good 10, 20 years, we'll start seeing studies of the effects of what happened to these people. It's not going to be good. I'm already telling you it's not going to be good because there's a lot of people that want to detransition, and there's horror stories that go with all of this.
Going to be, already, have that stuff in their body.
How many of them are just gay? How many of them just may be gay, and then someone says you're trans?
I was watching a podcast with this. She's a lesbian, and she.
But she's fun at parties.
The same thing the whole time. Well, she's the same idea as us. Now, being just gay is being transphobic.
Yes.
And I don't like that either.
No, I know.
I'm like, I like this.
Well, and I think a lot of too, like with my, William.
Everybody to be fluid.
I mean, the truth is, like,
like
the gay thing is like it's still in a binary. You know what I mean? It's still in a binary, or maybe bisexual.
Sure.
But it's like we still acknowledge that there are men and women. The idea that it's not a real thing, that's a totally different. It's a chasm between someone being gay, and by the way, it's a chasm between, like I wrote this article, this is a long time ago, in 2009, I wrote an article and it was titled, this was before Breitbart became Breitbart, it was just Big Hollywood, and I wrote an article titled Elton John and Rush Limbaugh Agree on Gay Marriage. And with Elton John, he said like, why do you need to push for like the institution? He said like, civil union is what you should push for, so that way everyone's happy.
Sure.
And that's what Rush Limbaugh said, and by the way, Elton John performed at Rush Limbaugh's wedding.
Yeah.
And and then of course, Elton John he just got excoriated, he had to walk it back. I'm like, look, even if you look back there, when people said everything is homophobic, even if you look in California, like full civil union, full rights, we just want to separate the marriage thing because of the church. And now you see what happens in Canada. But in Canada, if you're a pastor and you refuse to marry two men, you're done.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. That's the problem. It's like they should be. That's why I think marriage should be totally separate from the church and the state anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think the Christian church has screwed that up too. It's like the Bible doesn't say, and thou shalt have a joint bank account. You know.
I'm not even after that. I don't need to be married in church. I just want to be able to like file taxes together.
Right.
And like, be able to see one in the hospital.
In the hospital. Or a will. Sign a will. Exactly.
That's all I want.
That's what the fight used to be.
Working it in front of toddlers is a thing now.
I know. It's so disgusting.
Good for you.
It's so. Here's the thing. It's disgusting. People go like.
It embarrasses me, honestly.
You know when people say it's a double standard, I go, where do you ever see a straight? Exactly. Kids shouldn't be in a drag show just like it shouldn't be in a strip club.
That's not the same thing.
No.
It's bar culture.
Yeah.
When you really distill it down, it's bar culture.
And by the way, it's not even like this bar. It's it's serious adult bar culture on the streets.
Yep.
And that's the problem. Is that what are you, homophobic? It's like I just don't want to see a next to my wing dinner.
It's all about normalization. That's what they're trying to do, and they know in 20 years if this continues, it's going to be normalized.
Yeah.
And who knows what comes after this?
I know.
After, the trans agenda, the pedophile agenda, whatever is going to come.
Well, remember if I say it as a straight heterosexual male, if I'm like, they go, oh, are you comparing gays to pedophilia? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm saying that drag queen story hour at a public library is pedophilia at that point. It's sexualization of children. That's not because some of you, I honestly, these places, I'm like, I could play spot the gay man, and I don't even know that I'd be able to pick him out. I'm like, that's just a dude dressed up like a woman who still likes women. I'm like, so you're not.
Yes.
So you have nothing to do with gay people, but you are stripping in front of kids. It's
funny. Me and my brother just had a conversation recently, and this was kind of brought up in it, where I was just like, I don't want drags like to do shows at like kid events, because it is there's a time and place for all of that, and getting a kid to strip on to work a stripper pole just because it's like, you need to learn about drag queens and all that. And my brother was just kind of like, he was playing devil's advocate, because he was like, well, what about the women that twerk on like boys at the high school, like the rap shows, like grown women? And I was like, bro, I don't agree with that either. Like that also makes me mad. You are a grown woman touching on kids. That's gross. You a pedophile. Matter of fact, there was a video on here I saw on YouTube yesterday where it said something about I got my 10-year-old brother in a car with this grown woman. And first of all, this grown woman, her like breasts were out. She had like Daisy Dukes on, and he put his little brother in like the driver's seat, and they had the camera on, and he was in the back seat. And this grown woman's talking to this little kid. She keeps turning it around, twerking in front of him and stuff. That's gross, bro. Like, there is nothing. First of all, it's an uncomfortable situation to even have. All the adults in that situation failed. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, they should have never put that child into that situation. That's not a good look. The fact that they're trying to normalize it to this 10-year-old boy, weird, very weird, makes me wonder what happens when the camera's off. Because they're just trying to be, they came out and was like, it's funny, or just trying to be funny. No, let's switch the roles. If that was a 10-year-old girl, and that was a grown man with his shirt off, and he was his D print was out. I almost cussed. I'm trying not to cuss. If his D print was out, it was bulging, and he's just like shaking it, like, where you can kind of see it move, and he's like, yeah, you like that, baby? Yeah, it turns you on. I tell y'all, so many people would have been like, that's not a joke, that's pedophilia. But because, it's a grown woman and a little boy, it's just like, That's funny. Oh, he likes the way her booty twerking. Ah, it's funny. It's all gross. It's all sick. It's all sick. They're really trying to sexualize kids and make it so normal in front of our faces. None of that's right. All of it is wrong. I don't care if you straight, gay, whatever, it's wrong.
If I get a selfie with you?
No, sure, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it. We're on our way out. I was saying no to everyone else because we get security issues, but I'm on the way out, so you can do whatever you
I
want.
appreciate it.
You know what's funny? We've been asking people today, all we've been asking them is, are you proud to be American? You guys proud to be American? You proud to be an American?
Yes, sir. Well, at least I know I'm free.
Greatest country in the world?
No.
Only people who aren't white is.
Look,
Blacks, Asians, Mexicans are like, yeah, man, it's the greatest country. And then like white women are like, F off.
I am the product of an immigrant family that came
Where from? Oh, man, you're tall for
I am, I know. It's
What are you,
the
6'2"? 6'2"?
6'1".
Well, I guess it's the hair, right? It's 6'2".
All right, count of 3, 1, 2. Dude, thank you so much.
No, thank you. And I appreciate, man, I know the balls it takes to stand up, and you're like, I feel genuinely
I
bad.
don't anymore.
Yeah.
I bartend. That's a liberal, I'm liberals all over the place.
Right.
And after the Roe v. Wade, everyone was buzzing about it. And I'm just like, shut up. This
Yeah.
doesn't belong in a bar with alcohol and
I know.
whatever. I'm not gloating. I don't care. But also,
I think it's the end of the world. It's like, did you realize this is something to me, the Roe v. Wade thing. It's like, this is a very, very rare instance. Okay, for people who talk about the Supreme Court, right, and people talked about gay marriage, all these issues and how there's a problem, there's overreach of government. This is a very rare instance where the court actually stepped back from power and said, we're going to do nothing with this, and states can do whatever they want. Like, anyone who just says, I believe in freedom,
voters the power.
exactly. When people say it's destroying democracy, I'm going, why the unelected court saying this should go to your elected officials?
Yes.
Like, I can't think of anything that is more pro-democratic process than that.
Yeah.
But people think it's a ban on abortion.
The people that are freaking out the most haven't even really read it.
No.
They don't understand it. They don't get it.
I know.
And so, I don't know.
I know. No,
What is it about school, like when I was growing up? They taught us the Constitution. They taught us our rights. They did all that. Now they're teaching something completely different, and it's ruining
I'll
it.
tell you what it is. It's the same thing. It's white bitches. It's white women.
Okay.
It's white women. I have a joke in Senate. I'm like, we don't need to build a wall on the southern border. We need one around every single pottery barn. Just seal them in until 2025, because they all become teachers. Sorry, true heroes. And they have never worked in the private sector. Most of them are public school teachers.
Yes.
And we've even said this today. Look, you know this. As a gay man, probably better than I do. If you see a woman, she's attractive, and she's with a man, she's happy, she's conservative. If you see a woman who's past the point of her window, and she's single, she's miserable, or she's unattractive,
Has colored hair.
she's always liberal. She's always liberal.
Oh, totally.
Like there was
Let's see who said it.
and it's almost all right now. Think about it. Biden is losing with under 25. He's losing with under 30. He's losing blacks. He's losing Latinos. Huge.
Absolutely.
The only place he still wins is suburban white women. And that's the same thing today. Black people are like, man, I'm proud to be American. I go, yeah, what is it? Like, man, it ain't perfect, but I'm free. And then white people are like, oh, no, I don't think so. I'm like, really? Because the black guy you claim to speak for that's marginalized, he says you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I really think it's a disconnect, and people think it's an urban thing. It has become a suburban, predominantly. It's generally women, but particularly white women. Latino women aren't nearly as liberal.
It's the white women that are shutting those black voices down, that are not saying what they want.
Well,
as black people.
also shutting down gay voices.
And gay
Like
voices.
J.K. Rowling, like TERF. And it's like,
Yeah.
really? Almost every gay guy I've spoken with is like, yeah, the trans thing is a problem. Like, we're getting this is going to be a problem for us because we don't want to be lumped in with that. It's like white women who are like, no, TERF, it's LGBT. I've never heard one gay man say LGBTQAAIP unironically. Not one.
PQRS.
In the media, sure.
But in real life,
I mean, I'm sure you've run into more of them.
embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be like I'm not even representing that. That's why I walk away.
Yeah.
I don't even go to the neighborhood anymore. I just don't want to participate in that.
Is it? But I mean, I feel like you get some areas here that are nice. It's not like San Francisco where they're always around like in chokers and stuff on the street.
I mean, you haven't been to Pride.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it here
I've
in San
been to
Francisco?
never.
Yeah.
And it would embarrass.
I haven't been to Pride intentionally though. It was by accident. So in 2015, we got a chance to go to LA, and we were originally supposed to go shoot some anime convention, and while we were out there, one of our friends was like, yo, I'm glad y'all out here. I actually need videographers for E3. Do you want to be my video crew? And we're just like, yeah, it's E3, duh. So we ended up being out there for like the whole week for that. So literally the day before we met up with her to go to E3, we were still like hanging out with the people we went to go film the anime thing with, and they went to like some clothing store, and we had to drive through West LA, I think it was. And I guess a gay pride rally, march, parade, whatever was going on. Man, the amount of like chokers, leather, bootyless chaps. I'm trying not to cuss. Y'all. I'm trying to be a good Christian. You know, the D's out, naked people. It was wild. That was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. Like, yeah, you had like a few people put up pictures on Twitter at the time. It was like, I'm at the gay pride, but I've never, like, seeing it in person was wild. It was crazy. And like I said, we weren't trying to go. We were trying to cut through there to go to whatever clothing store or area our friend was trying to go to, because none of us had been to LA. Like, the whole group, that was like our first time, all of us going. So it was an experience.
Versus me, like, I've never been to Pride. Yeah. My first Pride I was invited to, I moved here 15 years ago, and it was going to be my first Pride. And I was invited to represent this bar that I frequented. And I was excited, came in that Saturday, saw the platform that I was going to be on, literally a flatbed like platform with poles sticking out of it, right? That was one thing. Then I went inside, the owner was like, here, wear this. And I was like, okay. And then I saw the baskets of candy everywhere. I was like, stuffed animals. And I was like, what's this for? It's like, oh, it's for the kids. Hold on. You want me to wear this and stand on this, holding this pole, and throw candy at kids? No,
That's
absolutely
weird.
not. Walked away.
God.
Never been to a gay pride parade ever after that.
Oh my God.
Because like there's nothing there that represents me.
Right.
And maybe if there was like a group of like conservative gay men that would represent themselves.
There are tons now. Like, I even talk about this where it's like, remember the Florida Don't Say Gay bill. It just, you can't teach kids about sexual issues.
It doesn't even say gay in the entire bill. You haven't read it.
Well, yeah, you gotta read it.
No, most people know, I understand.
I have not read it.
Well, what's funny to me is there was this, like, lesbian on TikTok, and I repeat myself, right? She was like, this is the example of a double standard of heterodoxy versus lesbian women. I'm like, yeah, because we all remember walking up to our second grade teacher being like, yeah, by the way, who are you plowing? Like, it never came up.
Yeah.
Straight people didn't do it because I didn't know their first name of my teacher. They're acting like straight people are telling them, like, this is my partner, this is what we do, this is the parade we attend. It never came up.
Yeah.
Dude, somebody in my Christian group, this kid, he's in high school right now. He said his teacher does that. He said it makes him uncomfortable, like, every day. So I guess every day in class, she makes them write down their pronouns every day because according to her, it could change. So she wants to be sure about everybody's pronouns. He said that makes him mad. Then he said right after that, she'll just go on this whole thing where she's like, this is my life, this is who I'm married to, this is our relationship status, this is what we do, and blah, blah. And he's just like, nobody's asking you that. Teach me, okay? I just want to know what we're supposed to be learning. I don't want to learn your life and your private life and your sex life and all that. It's weird, man. Public school is so weird now. Homeschool your kids. If you have the chance and ability to, homeschool your kids.
This is the group that wants to bring it up with kindergartners. And it's like, then they say it's a double standard. It's like, no, you're right, it's a double standard because of what you want to do.
These little kids don't know any of these things, and they're already treating each other equally.
Yeah. As a general rule, they tend to,
right?
And then we screw them up.
Now we're putting this stuff in their heads, and it's like,
Well, you give me hope for the country, man. People like you, and honestly, I tell you, just talking to everyone here, you'd be amazed. It's like, I've been working on this for a long time. Black Americans are inherently, like, more conservative than any group. They just don't realize it. They vote Democrat, but all like, America's great.
They're brainwashed into thinking like these are my people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not, these are your people, it's an ideology.
Right. Yeah, and most of them
Yeah, a lot of black people are brainwashed and don't even realize it.
don't share it. So, all right, go. I don't want to keep giving you a haircut, but thank you, man. Hey, if you like.
All right, I like that. I really enjoyed that video a lot. If you guys want to see me react to more content like that, make sure you like, comment, hit that notification bell so you never miss when I drop a video. I do try to drop 2 to 3 every day, but hey, life happens. If I happen to miss a day, I will update you on my social media. So go ahead and follow me over there by following the links in the description box below. And with that being said, until next time, you already know who it is. It's Sang.